And this is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive. According to Jammu and Kashmir Police, Dr. Muzafar Ahmed Rather, brother of Dr. Adeel, one of the suspects in the terror cell involved in the Red Fort terror attack, is alleged to be the main link between the arrested doctor's module. He is a coordinator and a Pakistan-based handler operating from Afghanistan. He and Dr. Muzamil, another member of the terror cell, reportedly traveled to Istanbul in 2022 to meet the handler, whose name goes by Ukasha, where operational and funding routes were finalized when it comes to mapping out the entire trajectory and the operations of the terror cell behind the 10/11 Delhi terror attack. To get more details, I'm joined by my colleague Anand Narasimhan. So Anand, clearly the investigation is now unraveling a transnational terror nexus that was the funding and the logistical power behind this terror cell.
Good afternoon, Ayushman, and good afternoon to our viewers. There had to be somebody who was the link, who had perhaps moved out of Jammu and Kashmir but was operating in foreign territory, who was the coordinator. Who was this person? Well, we now know that this is Dr. Muzafar Ahmad Rather, who is the brother of Dr. Adeel. And like you said, this person traveled along with Muzammil to Turkey to meet with the other handler, Ukasa, because Turkey was used as a neutral ground. These people traveled from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and then this lot traveled from Bharat, and they met at this area. This meeting happened in Istanbul, where operational and funding routes were finalized. So these planning had started more than 3 to 4 years ago in 2022. It's manifest in 2025, towards the end of 2025, 2026. That's when they were planning to execute these plans. What were they doing? This guy, Muzafar Rather has now moved from Jammu and Kashmir out over to Turkey, and from Turkey he moved to Afghanistan, and now he's supposedly somewhere in the Waziristan region. Now, what did this person do? This guy personally instructed Umar Nabi to execute the recent attack. So the last person, or one of the last people Umar Nabi spoke with before going ahead and deploying that explosive and that bomb at the Suneri Masjid signal outside Red Fort, was this guy Muzafar Rather, who is Dr. Adeel's brother. Who is this guy? This guy is again a doctor. He's a doctor who completed his MBBS from Jammu and MD in pediatrics from in Kashmir. He's the brother of Dr. Adeel Ahmad Rather. Muzaffar actually played a key role in motivating and radicalizing his brother Adeel, and also this lot. He's also, this group was introduced to this guy, handler Ukasa, from Pakistan, operational in Afghanistan, by Muzaffar Rather. Muzaffar is the key. What did they do? They actually were involved in the stockpiling of arms, ammunition and explosive material in huge quantities, with the aim to revenge or avenge any imminent or possible genocide of Muslims in Bharat. Now, he traveled to the UAE on the 22nd of August 2025, and from there he is believed to now have fled or traveled to Afghanistan, the Waziristan region. So this person is important. Now, whether or not Bharat will activate their equations with the current Taliban regime in Afghanistan to go ahead and try and extract this Muzaffar Rather, we have to wait and watch, or whether his whereabouts are shared by the Taliban intelligence and the Afghanistan government, we'll have to wait and watch. But this person is key because he's not only radicalized this lot along with Maulvi Irfan, but now the dots are connecting. Was there somebody from Jammu and Kashmir placed in Afghanistan who was in touch, and was he also in touch with Maulvi Irfan? We'll have to wait and watch. So Ukasa as a handler seems to be a key member of the Jaish, but Muzaffar has gone from here. Again, a white-collar terrorist, because he's trained as a doctor and then also done his MD in pediatrics. So he's supposed to be taking care of young children and helping them. And this is the person who's radicalizing his brother and his brother's associates, and then asking them to stockpile arms. And he's the one who actually tells Umar Nabi to go ahead and set off that bomb and also kill himself.
Right, and Anand, at the same time, given the fact that these white-collar terrorists are now being exposed, how do we read the fact that no global terror organization has taken responsibility for the Red Fort terror attack so far? And secondly, does it seem that post-Operation Sindoor, post-India leveling the terror and military infrastructure in Pakistan, that this planning was put into motion right after that to create these terror cells and give it a pan-India approach, transnational funding to exact such a cost on India?
Well, there are multiple possibilities, Ayushman, and you hit the right, one of the possible perspectives. But we must not forget, they were plotting and planning this from 2022. The travel to Turkey, the instructions, all of that have happened from 2022. So there was no Operation Sindoor at that time. But was there a particular push that came from the Jaish cadre? Because Ukasa, this handler, is supposed to be from Jaish. Irfan, the Maulvi, was taking instructions from somebody who's linked with the Jaish from Afghanistan in the Nangarhar province. That's also a confirmation. So the Jaish is involved, a jihadi tanzim is involved. Who had the maximum hit? It was Masood Azhar's family that was neutralized in the strike in Bahawalpur as it was raised on the 22nd of April. And there were, after that, Rauf Asghar talks of retribution. Rauf Asghar talks about Delhi is in our radar. Masood Azhar talks about women having to be now recruited to become handlers and facilitators and to use of women in this entire cause of jihad and Ghazwa-e-Hind, etc. So clearly the Jaish wanted to retaliate. Did they then activate this module? It's a possibility that's still under investigation. But they have been planning and stockpiling and recruiting and radicalizing white-collar terrorists for quite a lot of time. Since 2017, 2018, this has been going on, and perhaps things were set in motion in 2022. Was it before the 2024 elections? We have to wait and watch to try and understand that. And did this perhaps further trigger or accelerate post-Operation Sindoor under pressure from Jaish? We'll have to wait and watch and get a confirmation. But circumstantial evidence or perhaps the timelines point in that direction, Ayushman.
Right, and Anand, at the same time, given the crackdown on the terror infrastructure in Jammu and Kashmir, where terror heads have been neutralized, the OGWs, the cannon fodder, as several intelligence and security experts call them, they've been neutralized, they've been depowered in the Kashmir Valley. Is this the new emergent threat, the white-collar terrorists emerging from Jammu and Kashmir who can permeate themselves across the pan-India network, who can get into smaller communities and plan, hoard different bomb-making materials, weapons, and then carry out such attacks with precision? We saw those visuals coming in from the Red Fort yesterday as well, yesterday night, where Umar took his car into that crowded traffic. He was waiting for 3 hours outside the Suneri Masjid, and then he waited for the traffic to expand, and that's when he took his car at the traffic signal and detonated. So it's very good planning. People who can get into Indian society, get access to different parts of the country. Is this the new emergent threat? That is a huge challenge for the intelligence agencies.
This is not the first time there have been white-collar terrorists or educated, intelligent minds who have been thoroughly radicalized. But an organized module of a certain set of doctors who have also brought huge disrepute to the profession. Doctors of death, doctors of doom, jihadi doctors. Somewhere there is a doctor who's involved there, and the word doctor is involved there. And these are people who have taken the Hippocratic oath to save lives. On their day-to-day profession, while executing their professional duties, they were busy saving lives while planning to execute thousands of innocents. Now, and targeting thousands of innocents. So now, how is it that a brain or a mind is so far radicalized that they feel it is kosher to do so, or it is okay to do so? Internationally, we have seen some of the most hardcore terrorists have been highly educated individuals, be it engineers, be it doctors, be it people from evolved professions or who have studied a lot. To radicalize such minds and to help them stay radicalized and hide in plain sight seems to be a modus operandi that's been practiced for a while. Some of the top terrorists in the world are highly educated individuals, let's not forget that. But to radicalize intelligent minds, to groom them over a period of time and to convince them that this is the path, well, that is something which is concerning, because we don't know. Should we look at anybody and everybody around us with suspicion? That is something that works in favor of these jihadis and these entities who want to create social turmoil, who want to create the element of doubt and psychosis within the society. It works, it cuts both ways. It's a case where heads I win, tails you lose for these jihadi tanzeems and these radical ideologies and these people who are trying to push this into Bharat. But it's a sad statement too. Will the citizens have to be themselves aware? Will they have to now be alert all around us? Yes, we do. But should we broad brush anybody and everybody to be of the same skin and to be of the same ilk? That will also be wrong. But this does pose a huge challenge within the intelligentsia, within the intelligence, within the security framework, because a poor person, economically backward, who's doing it for money, can be de-radicalized. But a person who's financially stable, intelligently able, doing something like this, to de-radicalize them and to convince them that this is the wrong path is very, very tough.
Absolutely. Spreading fear in society is the classic end game of terrorism. Thank you, Anand, for joining us on the broadcast. And first, I completely agree with you. At first, while the logic given for terrorists as well as their fighters, the radicalized fighters, was that they have no economic opportunities and there are no jobs, there is poverty. But now that entire paradigm has changed.